Fairfield Federal, in cooperation with Interphase Video, presents the Lancaster Festival, live from downtown Lancaster. Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan makes it easy to take control of your personal finances and build your wealth. You can access your accounts 24/7 with online banking, bill paying, and debit MasterCard. Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, checking, savings, and home loans, online and on the go. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. Also brought to you by Personal Touch Party Rentals and Events, Walker Shoe Center, Buckeye Lake Marina, South Central Power, the Fairfield County Parks, Fairhope Hospice and Palliative Care, Dagger Johnston, Miller Ogilvy and Hampson, the Frankie Smith Funeral Home, Ohio University Lancaster, the Frame Shop, and the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities.
Hello friends, and welcome to Lancaster Festival Live. I'm Paul Jasson, and we are down here, and I keep saying, well, we're down here by the fountain, we're down here across from the bandstand. We're actually here at Hunsicker Way and Hood Boulevard, right on the corner of that intersection, which is, of course, Main and Broad Street downtown. Everybody knows that, but I was just looking up here today, and they have the signs put up for the festival of the two ladies that were so instrumental in getting this whole thing started 35 plus years ago with the Cameo League, and it's all led into what we're going now, 35 years of greatness here at the Lancaster Festival. So it's almost like a broken record. What another great day. But it's a great broken record. Just another fabulous day at the Lancaster Festival. It's anybody that can look out and say that. It's beautiful out, low humidity, great crowds down here. We'll hear from the group across the street in a little bit and talk to them, and some clips from yesterday out at the Bluffett concert and other things going on. We'll have a great show for you today and a lot of good guests, so we're looking forward to a good live show today, and we'll be here one more day tomorrow. We're down here at noon tomorrow to wrap up our week with the Lancaster Festival Live crew. So let's begin our Thursday with pleasure to have on our mayor, Dave Scheffler. David, thank you for, I was going to say walking across the street, but perhaps riding across the street.
Yes, I did on my scooter.
And you've had recently some foot surgery?
Foot surgery, yes, resulting from flat feet and an incident that happened with a tendon a couple of years ago that, despite lots of medical care, never got better. So they finally said, time to cut.
Yeah.
Said,
and they did.
Let's fix it. For sure.
How long you have the boot?
I've had it for 5 weeks, and I've got 7 more to go.
Okay.
So,
and going well, we feel?
Yeah, so far, I mean, the pain's done, and, it's just a matter of healing and behaving myself, obeying the doctor's orders, which my wife makes darn sure I do.
Well, I've heard perhaps said that it's a good thing you're the mayor and you don't have anything to do and you can really relax on that leg. I'm just
Sure.
repeating what I hear, David.
Yeah, absolutely. I had to wake up from my nap to come over here today.
Mayor Dave Scheffler with us today. And one thing I was thinking about Dave, of course, Dave is a former businessman here in town as an accountant, did a lot of things in that vein, retired, and then eventually became our Lancaster mayor. But in that vein, for the Lancaster Festival, you've seen the festival when it from its infancy stages, and just a regular citizen here in Lancaster. You've seen it as somebody who had artwork in the festival, not as the mayor, just one of the people who had artwork, and now as the mayor. So you've really seen it from lots of different angles, and it's just been such a wonderful thing for the community.
Yeah, also as director of Destination Downtown Lancaster, that actually runs all the activities down here.
And
other
this is
than
your part
other
downtown.
this, other than booking the talent,
Yeah.
Destination Downtown Lancaster organizes the whole atmosphere, festival, events, art walk down here. So yeah, I had a big hand in that for 3 years.
So when this started 30 plus years ago, we won't be talking about that, but from when you saw it from its infancy stages, I talked to Gary Sheldon about this and to Deb Connell about it. It's just amazing to see how large it's gone and such tremendous community support. I mean, the community is 100% behind this.
Oh, no doubt. And if you see the volunteers that are out every day of this event, it's pretty amazing the number of hours, hundreds or probably thousands of hours that are volunteered every year during this 10-day period.
Yeah, you go to the office, you go out to the any of the sites out at OU, you go to any concert around, there's people, and they're all volunteers. They have a very small, actually paid staff that does this, so without volunteers, we would never be where we are today. So again, to have the community embrace this really is wonderful, but it was a necessity.
Oh, it sure was. Yeah, there's no way that it could be pulled off like this if you had to pay all the help that we have. Certainly there's some off-duty police officers or sheriff's officers that direct traffic and that, but they're operating in their official capacity when they're doing extra duty like that, and they do get paid. But other than that, ushers, ticket sellers, setup, tear down, I mean, it's all volunteers, and it's fabulous.
Is that pretty much one of the big changes for you as the mayor? And you aren't in charge of that, I understand, but because there are some city people involved in that, mostly security positions and things like that, is that really the only change in your schedule for the week, other than you get to go to restaurants more often and more fun events?
Yeah, I mean, my schedule pretty much continues with a lot of extra events for the concerts that we go to, so probably if anything changes, it's the amount of sleep I get this week, which is less.
Which is less. I was going to say, you can't get more. So I mean.
Yeah. So staying up late, I mean, last night, the Bluffett concert, you know, we actually left a little bit early, right close to the end, so I could get out of there with this scooter prior to a huge crowd, so I didn't have any conflicts with running into people or people running into me. But so, you know, it was a late night for us.
We were just talking before we went on, the guys and me here were just talking, and we just think the energy level seems so high this year, and I guess I'd attribute that to maybe the good weather. I think when it's a day like this, when we've had good weather like this, compared to some years we've had our share of rain, we've had our share of issues with that. Everybody seems to be in a great mood. Nobody's really dying out here other than, you know, right when this got on last Saturday with Sarah Evans, but it's been, I think the energy is just terrific, and part of that surely is Deb, but I mean, it's just been a fun few days here.
Yeah, even the heat last Saturday night died off after the music started and the sun went down. It cooled off, so it was pretty nice. I think we did have a couple of showers maybe at one of the noontime concerts. But I mean, we've got the tents over there, so that wasn't even that big a problem. But no, it's upbeat every year, and it's especially upbeat. It's a great city.
Yeah. It's a great time to be the mayor, because I mean, you get to absorb a lot of this action down here. I understand that. Do you have any, over these years, have you been here for all 35?
Yes, and I've missed one Saturday night concert in all 35 years because we had a wedding out of town we had to go to.
Would you have any favorite memories, anything that strikes you? It doesn't have to be a Saturday concert, but anything that hits you is maybe your favorite 1-2 events that you've seen over 35 years?
Well, there have been some very memorable concerts. The Ben Vereen concert in 1988, where it poured down rain and pretty much everybody stayed, and it's probably, for Christy and I, the most memorable concert. We had about 10 Brazilians here. My daughter was an exchange student in Brazil, and we hosted 2 young ladies from Brazil, and their families came up, and Ben Vereen just did an outstanding job.
Is that the one where he came out and walked around?
It came out, and it rained, and he went back and changed clothes a couple of times, and ended up coming out after the orchestra had played everything that what they prepared for him, and sat on the edge of the stage and just sang and talked, and it was very memorable. For some reason, Gary Morris sticks in my mind too, and I think he was the one that was rained out because we had a tornado, and he came back the next year.
Right.
And I couldn't even tell you what he sang, but that just sticks in my mind as a great show. Yeah.
Yeah. And then again, the events, the tornado, everybody remembers where you were that night, because you were probably out there, and
we were stuck in Brazy Hall for 2 or 3 hours before they would let us go, and then it didn't stop after they finally let everybody go. And Creighton Likes was the CEO at the hospital, and they didn't ever get to eat, and they had and he was our next door neighbor on Mulberry Street. He had all the food from the hospital catering delivered to our house, and the party went on until all hours of the morning.
We got about a minute left. I just want to get to this before we talked about Ohio University and Creighton Likes. Prior to him was Ray Wilkes, and you had a special moment at Ohio University.
Yeah, yesterday afternoon or last night at 6 o'clock, OUL dedicated their new Ray Wilkes Gallery, which was formerly the bookstore right inside the door. And it's great synergy with the Wagner Theater and what Jeff is doing out there. I'm sorry, not Jeff. Victor Jones is doing out there. And we saw a little preview of Legally Blonde. But that new gallery is just fabulous. The old one, you had to have a map and a guide both to get to. And right now it's right there where they can combine theater events with art events. And Tricia Sprouse is the director of that gallery, and she's got shows planned out for the next 2 years. So big benefit to Lancaster and the local art talent and the students at OU also.
Well, we appreciate your coming over. I know it's a busy time, festival or no, it's a busy time, so appreciate your come over and spending a few minutes. Enjoy the rest of the festival. Perhaps we'll see you with Kansas on Saturday. Chance of that?
Absolutely. I think I'm headed over to get a fish sandwich right now.
Okay, very good. Good call on that. Mayor Dave Scheffler. Thank you, Dave. Last night, big tribute night concert. It has gained such popularity around here. A few years ago, they started going to that, and last night was no exception to that. Just before Bluff It, which was the tribute band, the group Logan Winkles and Hartley Station. That was the opening show. Let's listen to a little bit of them.
Hey. You know this one too, come on.
I don't know if I can quite hit that one yet, but I tell you this, everybody out here better know this next one. I don't do that much often, but you better know this one right here. You got me, baby boy?
We'll see.
Yeah.
Come on now.
I need to hear everybody get loud with this one. Miss Kimberly House, everybody.
See that smile that it seems to me reminds me of childhood memories. Everything was as fresh as a bright blue sky. Now and then when I see her face, she takes me away to that special place. And if I stare too long, I'll probably break down and cry.
Logan Winkles and Hartley Station, they opened for Bluffett last night. We'll hear from Bluffett in a little bit, and great job they did out there too. Just a wonderful evening for that tribute. That has turned into such an event, and I didn't go last night, but the mayor was telling me that did you go last night?
I did not.
Okay, but they had screens for last night.
Yes, they did.
They had screens
And
up.
they practiced right next to my work, so I listened all morning.
So you got a
They were
free
warming
concert.
up. I did.
All right. Very good. Well, you can see our guest here is Temple Custer Montañez, who is the Director of Community Relations with Fairfield DD. First of all, Temple, thank you for joining us. It's hard duty to come down here and be on TV and be around music and food and everything here. Thank you for doing it.
Thank you for having me, as always. I look forward to this every year.
Well, we look forward to it too. What's new at Fairfield DD? There's always things happening. Everything's jumping. I'm fortunate enough to be in Kiwanis with you, and every week we usually hear a little commercial about Fairfield DD, along with whatever yeah, I know it's shocking, but what's new in your world at Fairfield DD?
Well, I'll tell you, the biggest thing that's new right now is that we continue to increase the amount of people that we support at Fairfield DD. So we are now, Paul, supporting over 1,260 people throughout Fairfield County, both children and adults with developmental disabilities, as well as their families. We always say that it's very important that we include the families in that. But it's a joy to support them. It's a joy to help them not only identify what they want from their lives, but then sort of be there and watch them and support them as they make that happen.
And I bet every day is when you see things happen, and there's probably more positive things, more great things than you can shake a stick at down there. Every day there's probably an event that makes you smile.
Oh, absolutely. Or people that make you smile. Yeah, and you know, we say a lot that the people that we support, it's not their job to be our inspiration, but it is hard to not be inspired sometimes, even by the demeanor of many of the people that we serve, and to, you know, to be reminded of why we do what we do. You know, when you see those results, when you see those dreams come true, when you see someone, you know, secure that job that they've always wanted, or begin to live independently, or make a friendship. You know, we say a lot of times, in the last 50 years, a lot of times the people with developmental disabilities, every person they came into contact with during the day was paid to be with them. And what we really try and do at Fairfield DD is to get out in the community and make those connections, those organic friendships that are authentic and genuine, absolutely.
One thing I remember is when I was in junior high, of course that's been 100 years ago, but we had a young girl in our class who was crippled, probably had polio. Back in those days, polio was still an issue, and she had braces on. It was just awful looking, as I remember just seeing her every day in junior high. And I won't say that she was kind of excommunicated from the cool people in the class, but I think she was. And I don't think the school tried to do that, but they kept her separate for lots of good reasons, I think. I think they thought that was the way to go, and that's really been what I've noticed about what you folks do now. Is it used to be those people were separate, they would keep them moving, but they were on a separate track from the other kids. But now everything is about inclusion, everything is about mainstreaming everybody. Would that be close?
Oh, absolutely. And listen, people by nature are well-intentioned. And many of us by nature are paternal and maternal. And I think for many decades, we saw our role as a community to really keep people safe, keep people with a disability safe. And now we're discovering and being able to communicate to the community that, you know, people with a disability have the same rights that you and I have. And that includes the right to make a bad decision, or the right to make a wrong decision, or even an unsafe decision. But you know, we are there to support them in everything that they do. But that's a hard lesson to learn. You know, one thing that we've really tried to do in the last year is to go out into the community throughout Fairfield County and let people in the county know, hey, we're your county board too. We're not the people that take care of those people. We are here to as a service to everybody in the community. We're a government agency. We're supported by tax levy dollars. So we want people in the community to know, hey, if you have a question or a customer or a friend that you maybe think has a developmental disability, or you're not quite sure how to handle that, or what does that mean, or what's politically correct, because that could be scary, right? What's politically correct to say or do, and what's not politically correct to say or do? We're your resource. You cannot offend us. Give us a call. We're happy to come out and do trainings. We We're very focused right now on trauma-informed trainings. We're very focused on just letting people in the community know, the people in our community with developmental disabilities, they're not just in the community. We want them to be of the community. We want them to be woven into the fabric of the community just as much as you and I are. Although you and I are probably too woven in the community, Paul. People probably like to pull our thread a little when they pull us out of the community a little bit.
Not as
Right.
engaged in that, right. I'm talking with Temple Custer Montañez, Director of Community Relations with Fairfield DD, and I doubt if there was a light bulb moment in the history of DD when this kind of thinking that you're talking about came on. It probably has evolved. It's probably come about organically. It's just, well, we need to start doing this, and one thing leads to another. But it's such a difference from what it was. I'll bet even when you started to now, you can see marked differences on how your business is run.
Absolutely. And, if you're not moving forward, what are you doing? We're constantly pushing forward. We're constantly moving forward. We're constantly having to remind ourselves, as well as the people we support, that having potential doesn't do you a lot of good if you don't put that potential into motion. And so that's really where our next line of thinking, our next step on the ladder is.
I don't want to get out of here without talking about something that's close to both our hearts, I think. The All Abilities Park that's going to take place out at Hunter Trace, just a couple miles from where we sit right today. Sponsored in the largest part by Lancaster Kiwanis as their 100-year project, but so many other people and businesses. Bob Boehner, will give Bob a big old plug because he's done so much about it. But what a great place that will be when it's completed. I think people have no idea how cool this is going to be.
It's going to be beyond cool, and we're very grateful to Kiwanis as well as Lancaster Parks. It's all about inclusion, and I hope that we've gotten to a spot, Paul, in 2019 where we would say, why wouldn't we build a playground that's all abilities? Why would we exclude anyone? And so how gratifying to know that we've gotten to that point, and the amount of work that Kiwanis does for children locally, partnered with what the Parks does and Fairfield. There's so many partners in this, in the heart of the word community is the word unity, and I think this is a great example of that.
Well, you're the best. We love having you on and really kind of hump for Fairfield DD. They're a great organization. You're a great spokesperson for them. Give our best to everybody over there. All Abilities Park with Kiwanis, just another extension of what you folks do. So we're looking forward to another great year.
Thanks, Paul.
Temple Custer Montañez with the Fairfield DD. Enjoying having her with us, of course. Last night, we heard early, the opening act for the Parrot Heads was Logan Winkles and Hartley Station, but the big group was Bluff It. Let's hear from them.
tab for myself in a cab and be back to work before 2. At a moment like this, I can't help but wonder. He got Ohio on party and say, pour me something tall and strong, make it a hurricane before I go insane. It's only 12:30, but I don't care.
Wow, pretty amazing. Again, the Bluffett show from last night. He sounds a lot like Jimmy Buffett. I guess that's the point. They're one of the better, I think, tribute bands. That was last evening out at Ohio University, as the mayor indicated. Now with the big screens out there, there's a big crowd, a lot of beach balls floating around, just a fun time, I think, had by all. Beautiful evening out at Ohio University, Lancaster. So that was Bluffett from last night. Pleasure to have with me now, I guess I could say Norm, but I think most people would know Pip Ogilvie. We go with that?
I'm good with that.
I bet you are.
When you stay in your hometown, you don't lose your nicknames.
Someplace else you'd have to be Norman, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Well, you'd want to, gutsy it up a little bit.
I understand.
Yeah.
Well, Pip Ogilvie's with us at law offices of Dagger, Johnston, Miller, Ogilvie, and Hampson. Right up the hill, just about half a block from here. Get a nice break to come down, talk to us for a few minutes, probably go over and have, well, we know you had ice cream. We know that.
And I had a big tenderloin sandwich from Madison's, and I segued away from the fish today just to give my stomach a rest.
I don't think people know how good the tenderloin is there. People think of fish, but that's always been legendary tenderloin.
Oh, yeah, that's delicious. Absolutely.
Well, how about Dagger Law Firm? What a rich, and I've talked to a few people, Walker Shoes, Smith Funeral Home. There are a few businesses that have great and rich history here in Lancaster and Fairfield County, and your law firm is one of those.
Well, yeah, and we're proud of that fact. We trace our roots to 1902.
Wow.
And to Deffenbaugh and Miller. And J.W. Deffenbaugh was Jim Miller's grandfather.
I didn't know that.
Yep, and then his father was Boo Miller, and they went into partnership back, in 1902, and Dad came in later, but, and then they joined up with a law firm of Dagger, Johnston, and Ogilvie in the mid-1980s. And Bill Dagger started that firm right after the war in 1946. So, yeah, we've been around for a while, and we really enjoy being here, and it's a wonderful town.
Well, your involvement in the community, I'm sure back in those days, although it was limited because it was limited in the community, not a lot going on, but now, fast forward to 2019, your law firm and all the folks up there, that's pretty much a rite of passage. If you're going to be up there, there's involvement on your part in Lancaster and Fairfield County.
Well, when we bring in new lawyers, we emphasize the fact that if you're going to practice law in Lancaster, Ohio, and you're going to be part of our law firm, you're going to be involved in community. And we see that as not only as a tradition, but as something we owe back to the community, because when people come into you and rely on your expertise and knowledge, and you ought to pay it back, and that's what we do. And I think our history since 1902 really reflects that. We represented the Rising family back in the turn of the century, and prepared the documents for the donation of Rising Park. And that was the start of the park board here in Lancaster, and there's always been a member of our firm as the secretary of the park board since its inception. Currently, Mark Bibler is the secretary, and Jim Miller before him, and Boo before him, and then, of course, Mr. Deffenbaugh. We've had past presidents of the Chamber of Commerce have been Boo Miller, Jim Miller, myself, Brian Schonk. The list goes on and on. I mean, just we've been involved, and we want to be involved and make a contribution.
Talking with Pip Ogilvie from Dagger, Johnston, Miller, Ogilvie, and Hampson. And I guess that's an easy sell, I think, for the local guys. Guys like you and Mark Riegel, Mark Bibler, y'all understand what that means in this community. So then I guess it's just part of, when and perhaps you bring somebody from the outside in, that's part of the info package.
Yeah, it really is. But most of our lawyers have local ties, which Nick Grilly and Alyssa Parrott and Randy Happen. He's from Circleville, so he's certainly within the area. Yeah, close enough. Yeah, so Brian Schonk was raised here, went away to Boston to go to the law school, came back. So, Jeff Spangler was originally from here and then went down to Mississippi and went to school and came back. And so, I mean, almost every one of our lawyers has Lancaster ties or Fairfield County ties.
And isn't it nice when you have folks like that who go away for school for lots of different reasons, maybe start their career, but they're able to make their way back in their hometown? I know that's meant a lot to you and raising your family here, and everybody up there is probably in the same venue. It's a great town. Festival is just one part of that.
It really is, and I've always thought there's three things that distinguish Lancaster from a lot of communities, and one, it's its historic concepts of its buildings and its history, like General Sherman, and the traditions that have carried forward to the interest in the community about historical items. I think the second thing was just the sense of volunteerism that the community has. I mean, when there's a project, people volunteer. I mean, just like the festival. My gosh, there's close to 1,000 people that give up 2 weeks of their time to make this festival possible. It's just amazing to me. 3 venues a day, getting the music to where you need to be, get the parking, collect the ticket, getting the artists to the right places. I mean, you think about it, it's phenomenal.
All that and tenderloin sandwiches.
And not to mention tenderloin sandwiches.
Well, Dagger Johnson, it's a full-service law firm. You just do everything up there from the personal to the corporate level. There's probably not much you couldn't put your hand in if needed. What's the phone number or the website? You have a great website with a lot of information on it. How can they make some contact with your firm?
Well, the website, of course, is www.daggerlaw.com, and our phone number is 740-653-6464. And we have an office in Canal Winchester that is also staffed by a lawyer at all times and service the people up in northern Fairfield County. So,
well, Dagger Johnson, again, legendary folks from well over a century in business here. We appreciate what you're doing and your firm's involvement in the community. Thanks, Pip, for being with us, and best of luck to you and all your partners up there.
Well, thanks a lot for the interview, and what you guys do here is really important too. So
appreciate it, Pip. Thanks a lot.
Bye.
There, thank you. We'll be back in just a moment on Lancaster Festival Live.
At Dagger Law, we have more than 110 years of combined expertise in nearly every part of law.
What I think sets us apart from any other law firm is our ability to work together.
With us, you're getting a trusted partner, in addition to a team who can help you with a growing business, changing family, planning your future, or dealing with land issues.
It's a challenge every day, and you meet an awful lot of nice people.
Your case matters. We'll take the time and the energy to ensure that you have a quality experience, quality representation.
Whatever you need, we have a lawyer who can help. Dagger Law. Local, trusted, experienced.
The Frank E. Smith Funeral Home and Crematory in Lancaster and the Johnson Smith Funeral Home in Baltimore have a long and wonderful history of serving our community. Feel free to give us a call at 740-653-0652. Stop in and see us at either of our 2 locations, 405 North Columbus Street in Lancaster or 207 South Main Street in Baltimore. Respect for tradition, regard for change.
I don't know if that's Kismet or not, have Pip Ogilvie on, and then we go to a Dagger Johnson Law commercial. That's pretty good right there. Appreciate everybody being with us today. Again, Lancaster Festival Live, fabulous day down here at Lancaster, and we're glad to be with you one more day tomorrow, live at noon on a Friday here from the bandstand, right across from downtown, again at the corner of Hunziker and Hood intersection right here in Lancaster. It's time for our annual interview. We were just joking about that. From Buckeye Lake Marina, we have Jared Kale, and it almost seems like it's a year ago we chatted. Isn't that odd?
It does seem that way, Paul. Yeah.
Jared, one of the fine people up at Buckeye Lake Marina, one of the places that we talk about on the show a good bit up here. They they're a great sponsor for us here at the Lancaster Festival. And even though it's Millersport, I mean, the whole county gets involved in the Lancaster Festival. It certainly isn't just Lancaster. It certainly mostly is, but Baltimore, Carroll, Canal, I mean, everybody gets involved in this.
You're right, absolutely. It's countywide for sure.
Tell us about Buckeye Lake Marina. I would guess, and I think last year we talked about it, probably in a little more dire, because things are starting to turn around last year with Buckeye Lake, but now in this past year, and I think Dave has been a big part of that, having him as a county commissioner, I'm sure has helped kind of fund this way through. But Buckeye Lake, they turned the corner, and I think they're back.
Yes, Buckeye Lake is back. We're at full pull again, as they call it, meaning that the lake is at its full summer level.
To let water out?
Yeah, we've actually had to let water out this year. We've had so much rain, which has been crazy. It's been a very wet spring and into the beginning of summer, which is great. We're glad to have the water, but we're also glad to have some boating weather now that it's nice and warm out. And of course, this is perfect boating weather right now. But yeah, the lake, they finished the dam construction last year, had a ribbon cutting in the fall for the new dam, and then now they, of course, have the lake, level back up, which we're very pleased with.
Well, Buckeye Lake Marina, I mean, when you talk about somebody with Buckeye Lake, I mean, you're right there at the ground floor of kind of what went on, and when it got bad, I'm sure it got bad for you folks, as it did for many businesses up there. But now they're back, and you're at full go at the marina. I think we've talked about if it's a new boat you're interested in, if a used boat, parts, you're ready for that.
Yeah, absolutely. So we sell new boats, pontoons, runabouts. We sell used boats as well, depending on what we've had, available, traded in. We have a full parts store, accessory store, so anything from life jackets to spark plugs, we handle all of that. We do boat service. We have a canvas shop, docks. So we're really a full service marina. Anything that you would need boating related, we can handle it. So.
Do we see up there at Buckeye Lake more of a interest because of the kind of lake it is, shallow, and there's certainly speedboats up there, we get that, we see those out there, but more and more I see pontoon boats as perhaps the boat of choice. So maybe that's younger boaters getting older, I'm not sure. I know that is the case in some areas, but it seems like pontoon boats, at least at Buckeye Lake, very popular.
You're right. Pontoon boats we sell about 10 to 1 now compared to what we would call like a traditional fiberglass boat. Reason for that is it's kind of like having your deck with you out on the water. You've got all that room to walk around. You've got the open floor plan. It's great to wall kids in because you've got the railing, the fencing there. And now with tri-tunes, as they call them, where you have that center tune, you put a large motor on it and you can pull skiers, you can pull tubes, you can do just about all the water sports you would, but you still have that nice comfortable platform, smooth ride. They handle shallow water really well, and we know Buckeye Lake is a shallow lake. So.
My friend just bought a pontoon boat a few months ago, or for this year for the season, and who lives up there, and he was telling me about that. He takes his grandkids out water skiing, and I'm thinking, well, how can that be? So anymore, those are really geared for that. They're just not to have a lazy Sunday afternoon. You can actually use them.
Correct. We've sold pontoon boats that go up to 60 miles, 65 mile an hour. Now those are kind of rare, kind of the exception, but you can get into a pontoon, tri-tune boat that you can pull skis with and do anything you'd want. It's kind of like the SUV of boating in the way, kind of like the, end all be all, I guess. So, yep.
So now as you look at the crowds that are there, and I'm sure your group is back, you think things are back to where they were before all this occurred, or is it still kind of coming back a little bit?
I would say it's still coming back. You still have a lot of the homes on North Bank where they're still getting docks built because all those docks were ripped out. I think there's 370 some homes that are on North Bank and along the dam. So, those docks are being built and put back in. So we have a lot of customers that are still waiting on their docks to be finished, and then they'll take their boats back over to their residence and, use them at their home that are currently docked with us. So it's, like you said, still coming back, still recovering, but we're just glad to have the water level up and the dam finished. So
I bet from the worst part, whenever that was, a year, 2 years ago, till now, I mean, this is obviously where you'd like to be, and perhaps you wondered if you'd ever would get back here, but I bet Dave and everybody up there is just so overjoyed, not only for the marina, but just for Buckeye Lake in general. Everybody's now enjoying this success.
They are, and absolutely. And we're happy for the other businesses. And, you know, there's a saying, the rising tide, what is it, lifts all ships. And so it applies in this scenario. So, yeah, everybody wins. So.
Jared Kale, Buckeye Lake Marina, and you have a great website. I mean, it's very interactive. If you're looking for, like you say, boats or pontoon boats or parts or really anything, questions you have about boats, very active. Got phone numbers and names of folks on there. Why don't you list that and tell how would people get in contact with Buckeye Lake Marina?
Yeah, absolutely. So our website would be the best stop. It is buckeyeLakeMarina.com. Easily you can Google that as well to find it, and you can go there. It has our phone number, contact information. There's a form that you can fill out to get in touch with us directly, and someone will get right back in touch with you with questions about service or anything like that.
And if somebody wanted to come up and they don't want to face a crowd, I imagine a weekend are a little busier. During the week, during the day, would that be a better time to just wander in and look around?
Yeah, absolutely. We're open 7 days a week, so 9 to 6, Monday through Friday. Just stop in. There's 2 buildings. One's our shop, one's the boat sales, and then we're also open on the weekends. It's never really too busy. There's always somebody there that can help you and take time to educate you about boats and anything you have questions about. So.
And I suppose that's just a big part of it. Not only coming up looking, but people, first-time boat owners, just tell us about it. What can we expect? I imagine that's a big part of your job.
Yeah, I'd say a quarter of our customers are people who have never boated before or owned a boat, and they're saying, hey, I want to get involved with this with my family. It'd be a great activity. Get us started, and we can take somebody from, I've never owned a boat or even driven one before to an experienced boater. That's no problem.
Phone number?
740-467-2697.
BuckeyeLakeMarina.com?
You've got it, yep.
Very good. Jared Kale with Buckeye Lake Marina. Thank you, Jared. We'll see you in a year.
All right.
All right. At the bandstand, right across from us right now, Honey and Blue Entertaining. They've got pop, blues, soul. Let's go across here, a little cut from them.
Every business is up and due.
Honey and Blue here at the 35th anniversary season of the Lancaster Festival, right across with the lunchtime entertainment here on a Thursday afternoon. So beautiful day for that. Again, warm temperatures, a sunny out, low humidity, fabulous time out here. That clip by Honey and Blue brought to you by our friends at Personal Touch Party Rentals and Events, as well as this great tent that we're in right now. We appreciate that so much. Personal Touch Party Rentals realize that you rely on them for making your event successful. They are family owned and have over 30 years combined experience in the event rental industry. You can check them out at personaltouchparty.com. Let's take a look at the calendar brought to you by Walker Shoe Center. They're a true sit-down, get your feet measured shoe store, 737 East Main Street here in Lancaster. This afternoon at 1:30, not that far away, it's matinee at the mall. The Harmonics are at the River Valley Mall. At 4 o'clock, it's the Festival String Quartet. They'll be over here at the Keller Market, 134 South Columbus Street. 5:30, it's happy hour. That's good to know. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. At the Hocking River String Band Ale House, they'll be there at 149 West Main. And 7:30 tonight is the family concert, Video Games Live, with the Lancaster Festival Orchestra and Tommy Tallarico. They'll be out at Fairfield Christian Church, out at 1995 North Columbus Street. And let's look ahead to Friday. Tomorrow will be our last day down here with the noon event. But after us and before us, these are events. 10 o'clock, Major Arts for Minors, book illustration with Aaron Birchwell. Workshop for ages 9 to 12. They'll be up at the Decorative Arts Center. That's just up the hill here at 145 East Main. At 10:30 tomorrow morning, Children's Corner with Rick Kelly, Knights of Columbus Hall, KSC Hall over on East Walnut Street. And then at noon across the street, Buzzard King Duo. They're at the concert stage there at Main and Broad. That's at the noon entertainment tomorrow. So lots of good things still coming. We'll be down here tomorrow for our Friday adventure down here to wrap up our week. It's been a fun time down here. We've had such fabulous weather. All indications are that the rest of today, tomorrow, and then Saturday for the big Kansas concert, everything will be going well weather-wise for that. So we look for some big crowds. So again, for everybody here at Interface Video, thank you for joining us on Lancaster Festival Live, and drive safely, and we'll see you out there.
Fairfield Federal, in cooperation with Interface Video, presents the Lancaster Festival, live from downtown Lancaster. Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan makes it easy to take control of your personal finances and build your wealth. You can access your accounts 24/7 with online banking, bill paying, and debit MasterCard. Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, checking, savings, and home loans, online and on the go. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. Also brought to you by Personal Touch Party Rentals and Events, Walker Shoe Center, Buckeye Lake Marina, South Central Power, the Fairfield County Parks, Fairhope Hospice and Palliative Care, Dagger Johnston, Miller, Ogilvy and Hampson, the Frankie Smith Funeral Home, Ohio University Lancaster, the Frame Shop, and the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities.